I've packed up the musical equipment, along with a few books and some clothes. We load up the car, and we are on our way to Youkali, the private sculpture garden of our new friends, Luc and Jeanette. We met this amazing couple during one of our stays in Puerto Morelos, Mexico. And when we played a few songs for them, they invited us to visit them and give a garden concert for a few invited guests at their home in Saint Hippolyte, a wooded area in the Laurentide region about 90 minutes north of Montreal. The computer estimates the drive time at about 6.5 hours, but with a couple of stops and Montreal traffic, it's more like an 8-hour drive. No matter, I like to drive. I like the feeling of the slow motion in between. The night before we leave, I have a dream. I am in an unfamiliar city where shape-shifting streets change behind my back and leave me lost and helpless. I ask a woman for directions, but she hurries away, fear in her eyes. I don't talk to strangers. I ask another passerby, but what good are directions when the map is constantly rearranging itself as you go? Suddenly, a flatbed trailer decked out in bunting like in a parade floats by. There she is, but who? I cannot tell. There you are. I was looking for you. Let's go. What? Look at all this stuff. She's surrounded by stuff, like the cosmetics aisle in a CVS. I'm not leaving all this here. I try to convince her none of it is worth waiting for, but no cigar. Halfway to the Canadian border, we stop for lunch in Waterford, Vermont. I order salsa and chips. The salsa like ketchup, but the beer is good and the town is quaint. A picture-perfect scene from Yankee magazine. There is a white church, brick buildings and little shops, the very essence of traditional New England. We stop for gas. As I fill up the tank, I am suddenly transported to a near psychedelic state. For just a moment or two, everything is still. Everything is perfect, timeless, ineffable. I know I am in the precise place I should be at this moment. It's just a transient feeling, but nonetheless ecstatic and profound. The transcendent experience is like an inner glow, a deep warmth, beautiful. We cross the border into Canada without incident and reach Saint Hippolyte at 6:30 or so. Youkali is a magical wooded garden. We take a short walk, following paths snaking through a forest of streams, stones, plants, and fantastic sculptures. Tomorrow, we will have a tour. Our friends Michael and Cynthia have arrived, and now we are 6. Tonight, we will have dinner, a few drinks, and sleep. The next morning, I am slow to wake and still groggy from the long drive the day before. Vika is still asleep. My Duolingo ritual takes a half hour to get through. Sleep was not dreamless, but the details haven't returned to me yet. I am feeling already the pressure of this very social situation as guests in the home of new friends. If I could, I would sit outside alone and just read all day, but that's not going to happen. At last night's dinner, Jeanette served a dish featuring moose she and Luc have hunted themselves. I was thankful for my vegetarianism. I often complain about the obnoxiousness of men, how competitive and unfeeling they can be. Luc, our host, is an exception to this. He has had the luck of wealth and material success, But instead of obsessively hoarding his wealth, he commissions artists, invests in worthy causes, produces films, and donates land to create protected natural spaces. After breakfast, Luke takes us on a 90-minute tour of Youkali, the private sculpture garden he has created with his beautiful partner of 50 years, Jeanette. His perspective is deeply spiritual. He is entirely in touch with every stone, every mossy covering, and each of the 200 beautiful sculptures he has commissioned for his garden, mostly from the artists of Zimbabwe. He's a great storyteller. He speaks of hunting as a sacred practice by which respect for the animal is paid in the consumption of its flesh. He speaks of money as a means by which we vote, in the ways by which we invest it, in the arts, in startups with social responsibility, in humanitarian and environmentally aware causes. He asks the question, is the earth in danger? Each of us say yes. He says no, not really. Humankind is in danger, but the earth itself will survive. In a section of his garden devoted to dreams, he explains the symbolism of 7 sculptures. We are greeted by the angel of the night, he says, and then you have knowledge. Our dreams bring access to knowledge. This sculpture, then, is introspection. This one, protection, the mother protecting the child from the jaguar. This one is death. It is the last work the sculptor made before he died. This piece is effort, made by a female sculptor. Effort and collaboration. And of course, this one is maternity. And finally, this, the last, is eroticism. He also cultivates honey and keeps an apiary on the deeply wooded property. The stone formations surrounding the house and populating Youkali are like natural sculptures created by glacial activity eons past. Luke explains how the roots of trees caress the boulders beneath them, how the mosses form layers of protection for the earth below, how bears are not interested so much in the honey as in the protein-rich larvae of bees. He has a genuinely creative spirit. He tells me of a recent business transaction where he has purchased thousands of acres of land adjacent to Youkali and has arranged to donate most of it as a nature preserve, and how the process was delayed when a type of orchid never before identified was found to grow on this land. He tells of how he is from a large Catholic family from the northern Quebecois mining region of Abitibi, where, in the 1930s, was discovered a vein of gold beneath their feet on a subsistence farm. Somehow the gold may have filled their pockets, but it entered his heart as well. He has commissioned a major sculpture to be installed in the middle of a lake in Abitibi, the place of his familial origins. In the evening, I fall into a rambling conversation in French with Jeanette. I find myself speaking without translating from English in my head, in the flow of language. I tell of the closet door in my parents' house, the one with the monster in the grain of the wood. It is in this context of how the memory of the tree is recorded in the grain. I raise the possibility of wood spirits, and Luke asks many questions about the house, about Fall River, about my parents, and the mills. The connections I share with Luke and Jeanette as French Canadians are meaningful. The next day, we leave for Montreal to stay one night with Chantal. Tomorrow, we will return to Youkali with Chantal and play a 90-minute concert for invited guests in the garden. We arrive to Montreal, park in a garage complex, and meet Chantal at a museum of new art. The exhibits are a bit underwhelming, but not uninteresting. For lunch, we walk to Chinatown. We find an excellent little dumpling and noodle place. I am wearing the new white shirt I bought in Paris, and I am quite proud of it. Sure enough, I sploosh hot chili oil on it. I'm so upset. Fortunately, I happen to have another shirt of the flannel variety in my bag, and I decide to change discreetly at the table. I put the flannel shirt over the bespattered white one, thinking I can wriggle out of the former without removing the latter. No, I cannot. I am now tied into a knot, and in a desperate move, I take off the outer flannel shirt, and the inner white one comes right off with it. For a split second, I am half naked in the dumpling shop. No one but Vika and Chantal take notice. No one else bats an eyelash. It is not at all a fancy place. But Vika and Chantal will never let me live it down. And I'm so fat. But I'm happy to be a source of amusement, and I know it is a story they will tell for years. Remember when Mo got naked in the noodle shop? It is Gay Pride Week, and we wander past Gay Pride kiosks and displays to the little Airbnb where we will spend the night. A bottle of wine pops open, we toast, and Chantal and Vika head out to explore. I opt to stay behind. I'm tired. We've walked a lot today, and there has been much driving over the last 2 or 3 days. The rest of the evening is planned. A Brazilian drag show, part of Pride Week. Sure to make me uncomfortable, or maybe not. I don't think I've ever been to a drag show. And sex tends to make me uncomfortable in general, so wish me luck.
That we should kiss. Oh my gosh, I got chills. So, if you guys make a lot of noise, we can kiss. Okay. You agree with this? DJ. Lupa! Lupa!
The drag show turns out to be fantastic. The music, the costumes, the humor, the glorious theatricality of it all. It is a sensuous outdoor extravaganza, entirely kid-friendly, life-affirming, and sex-positive, exuberant all the way. Little kids gather at the front of the stage to look up in wonder. She must be the most beautiful princess in the whole wide world. We learn how to shake our booty, we learn how to dance salsa, we have poutine and beer. The evening is a highlight. I should jettison my repressions and lighten up. We head back to our little apartment, have another beer, and fall asleep telling stories. My tales of the crazy cars I've recently considered purchasing are so boring, they put Chantal and Vika quickly to sleep. next morning, we drive back from Montreal to set up and play a private concert for about 20 to 25 French-speaking people. But not first without a minor mishap at the parking garage in Montreal. When we try to exit, the automated gate displays the message "already exited" and refuses to let us out. Laissez-moi sortir. So I try a desperate gamble. I back up and line our car directly behind another car about to leave the garage. The gate goes up, I gun the engine, and we are free, tailgating the guy in front of us, making it through the gate before it comes crashing down on us. We make the drive back to Saint Hippolyte in Youkali. Guests arrive, and we play a concert of about 90 minutes. Aside from a couple of minor and probably charming mishaps, the show goes off without a hitch, and people love it.
C'est presque bout du monde, ma barque vagabonde, errante au gré de l'onde, m'y conduisit un jour. Elle est toute petite, elle a fait qu'il habite, gentiment s'invite à faire le tour. Youkali, c'est le pays de mon désir. Youkali, c'est le bonheur, c'est le plaisir. Youkali, c'est la terre où l'on quitte tous les soucis.
It's a big success. We sound great. The event is a testament to the power of music to bring people to tears together. So much of this trip has been about a reconnection with ancestral roots. I keep thinking of how, if my grandparents had not left Canada for the United States, they would have been the grandparents of the people at this party. My being here is like a spiritual homecoming, a great return to primal sources. There are little kids, including Axel and Romaine, the grandchildren of Luc and Jeanette. We invite the kids to come play the instruments. They love that and are our friends from that point on.
Youkali, c'est le bonheur, c'est le plaisir, mais c'est un rêve, une folie. Il n'y a pas de Youkali. La vie nous entraîne, les sentes quotidiennes, mais la pauvre âme humaine, cherchant partout l'oubli, a pour quitter la terre, su trouver le mystère. On aurait rêvé se taire en quelques Youkali. Youkali, c'est le pays de mon désir. Youkali, c'est le bonheur, c'est le plaisir. Youkali, c'est terre où quitte tous les soucis. C'est dans notre nuit comme une éclaircie.
When we play the Kurt Weill song Youkali, the inspiration for the name of this beautiful garden and nature reserve, it brings tears to Jeanette's eyes, and of course to my own as well. The song is about a legendary place called Youkali, and it ends, C'est un rêve, une folie, il n'y a pas de Youkali. It is a dream, a madness, There is no such place as Youkali, but we change it to Ce n'est pas un rêve, pas une folie. Voilà, nous sommes à Youkali. It is not a dream, not a madness. Here we are in Youkali.
Le bonheur, c'est le plaisir. Ce n'est pas un rêve, pas une folie. Voilà, nous sommes à Youkali. Ce n'est pas un rêve, pas une folie. Voilà, tout le monde est ici, c'est à Youkali.
I am ready to go home, but there is one more day with evening reservations at a seafood restaurant where we will treat our hosts. Chantal is back on her way to Montreal, hitching a ride with one of the concert guests. It's been great to see her. Could it be that my dreams and the momentary transcendent experience in Waterbury were presentiments of this significant stop on my spiritual pilgrimage? The suggestion is fascinating. Our preoccupations can blind us to the things that truly matter, that are of true significance. Today is overcast with smoke from northern fires. It's a little unsettling, and after a long day, my eyes are stinging from it. Luke and Jeanette have planned a trip to a ski village that might be described as a kind of Quebecois Disneyland. It is a long drive and very crowded once we are there. We have maple ice cream, yum, and an excellent Canadian beer of reddish color. It is the denouement of our stay, our last day at Youkali with Luke and Jeanette and Michael and Cynthia. In the evening, we go to an excellent seafood restaurant and stroll through the small and picturesque town of Saint Sauveur. I continue to have lovely conversations with Luke and Jeanette, almost always in French. She tells me of her trip to Vietnam, a dream experience for her. Jeanette and Luke have liberated the French language within me. That night I sleep badly and lie awake for much of it. We will leave early in the morning for the long drive back and the harrowing border crossing into the U.S. How strange to be afraid to enter one's own country. We are up, packed, the car is loaded, we say goodbye to our cool new friends and off we go. Of course, our car is stuffed with musical equipment. On the way into Canada, the border crossing was seamless. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? How long? Purpose of your visit? Any cannabis products? Proudly, absolutely not. What's in the car? Musical equipment. We're giving a private house concert for friends in Saint Hippolyte. Enjoy your stay in Canada. Easy, gracious, but not so easy on the way back home. There was a lot of fearful anticipation of the border crossing back into the U.S. leading up to the trip. Our friend Michael bought a so-called burner phone and brought it with him into Canada for fear that his usual phone might have incriminating content. We arrive at the border crossing, wait our turn, pull up to the window, and hand over our passports.
Take off your sunglasses and roll down the back window.
Of course, the sunglasses.
Where are you coming from?
Montreal and Saint Hippolyte.
For how long?
5 days.
Purpose?
To visit friends.
What's in the car?
Musical equipment. We played a little house concert for our friends.
Where's it from?
Huh? I bought it in Providence, Rhode Island.
Did you fill out a Form 3745B with serial numbers and date and location of purchase of each item?
It's a joke, right? No, was I supposed to? This is apparently the wrong thing to say. An ugly mask of arbitrary power comes over his face. I hate that. I'm sure he detects a note of defiance on my face, antagonism in my voice.
How do I know you didn't buy all that stuff in Canada and you aren't taking it back across the border and trying to avoid paying hundreds of dollars in tariffs?
Oh, yes, tariffs. Welcome home to the land of usury and corruption. We're musicians. All of this equipment was purchased at home in Rhode Island. A guitar, a little amp, stuff I've had for years.
How am I supposed to know that? You have to fill out a 3745B.
Vika tries to salvage the situation. Can we just download that online? He ignores her. He then does something very strange. He stares at me, unblinking, for a very long time. It's as if he has received some sort of stare into the suspected musical instrument trafficker's soul training. I stare back. There's not a shred of decency in it, at least not in this particular role and capacity. I have a feeling this could go very badly. Am I going to have to get out of the car and unload the equipment? Fill out a 3745B, play a tune, pay $100 in tariffs or more, write a personal check to Donald Trump, go to jail? What? And what's worse is that I'm not so much afraid as I am outraged. I am appalled at this kind of cheap bullshit authority. The guy strikes me as a royal asshole. This is taking a long time. But this is ridiculous. I've had this stuff for years. Never say but. This is arguing. Vika pinches my elbow. The pinch means shut up. I shut up.
Listen, I am telling you what you need to do. I'll let it go this time. Next time, do not, I repeat, do not take musical equipment across the border without a 3745B and serial numbers for each piece of equipment. You got that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Vika insists he's just doing his job. And she's right, but she did not see in his eyes what I saw. I guess we were lucky. The rest of the drive is long but uneventful. We stop in Montreal, and I find a nice bookstore and buy a beautiful little book by Patti Smith titled A Book of Days. I've driven more on this trip than during our entire 2 weeks in France. By the time we pull into our driveway, 8.5 hours after our departure from Saint Hippolyte, it's evening. I have that odd feeling of nervous vibration. Too much caffeine, too many miles, too much 80 miles per hour. Now we are home.